Impure world reincarnation. We at CBR have done the impossible. By borrowing a few of Kabuto's notes and making some slight improvements, we have brought back to life all of the previous Hokage, as well as grabbed Kakashi, Tsunade, and Naruto from their village duties. Why? Because in today's video, the 7 Hokage will duke it out in an all-out brawl to prove who is the strongest Hokage of them all. Who will come out on top? Will it be the Hokage who's sky-high in debt, or the copy ninja of the Hidden Leaf? Let's find out. That's it! First to be knocked out of our Hokage Battle Royale is Kakashi Hatake. Now don't get me wrong, when it comes to Shinobi, Kakashi is one of the strongest of the strong. That doesn't mean that he's the strongest Hokage though, but we can give credit where credit is due. The man is feared all throughout the land, and his resume shows why. At a young 10 years old, Kakashi was already a Jonin, the highest rank of ninja next to Hokage, and became captain of the Anbu Black Ops at 13. Why? It's because Kakashi can essentially use any jutsu known amongst shinobi. Infamously known as the copy ninja due to his Sharingan, Kakashi has successfully copied over 1,000 jutsu at a speed just as fast or faster than his opponents. And these jutsu aren't just in one elemental release. As a whole, his jutsu catalog ranges between all 5 basic elemental releases, and he created one of the most infamous jutsu known amongst shinobi. What's the fastest way to a girl's heart? Chidori. But let's talk more about that Sharingan for a moment. Sharing 0 ties to the Uchiha, Kakashi shouldn't have been able to do as much as he did. However, he made the dojutsu his own despite the limited amount of chakra he had. I mean, the guy was able to use Susanoo when he possessed the Mangekyo Sharingan in both eyes. Losing his Sharingan post the 4th Shinobi World War is a big reason towards Kakashi's early exit. Despite that, Kakashi will always be one of the greats whose devotion to teamwork, selflessness, and care for others allowed him to become the 6th Hokage and one of my personal favorites. As the granddaughter of the legendary first Hokage Hashirama Senju, Tsunade is a beast of a shinobi who should not be taken lightly. Hailed as one of the legendary Sannin, Tsunade's accomplishments range wide, many regarding her as the reason why the Leaf was able to win the Second Shinobi World War. However, if you were to ask her, the one she would be the most proud of is her advancements in medical nin. We should note that Tsunade is the reason that Lee was ever able to grace the stage as a ninja again, healed the psychological damage of the Tsukuyomi, and was even thought to be able to heal Orochimaru's arms, which were sealed away by the Reaper Death Seal. But this video isn't about accomplishments though. It's about strength, and Tsunade has plenty of it due to the Strength of 100 seal. This technique allows the Lady Senju to store chakra into the seal on her forehead, which can be released at any time, multiplying her chakra 100 times over, adding to her already insane strength. Alone, she's been able to split the ground with a finger and make Jiraiya take a trip to the ER with several broken ribs, arms, and ruptured organs. With the seal, she has been able to break through the Susanoo. Did we mention she's also essentially immortal? Her ultimate technique is the ninja art Creation Rebirth, Strength of 100 technique, which essentially allows her to autonomously heal any injury without hand sign or effort, as long as she has chakra. With that, Tsunade should have this tournament in the bag. Well, that would be the case if her sensei didn't have something to say about it. Hailing as the 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi is renowned as the Professor and shares the nickname God of all Shinobi with Hashirama Senju. It's said that in his prime, Lord Third was stronger than any Hokage who came before, including Hashirama, which says a lot. However, this strength was never seen in the anime, and at the time of his revival, Hiruzen is hovering around 60 to 70 years old, giving reason to why he's next to take a seat on the sideline. Or at least in a deadlock battle with the next entry on this list. His age doesn't do him justice though. We have to remember that when Orochimaru attacked the Hidden Leaf during the Chunin exams, not only did the 3rd Hokage take him on and seal his arms, but he also took on and sealed away a reanimated Hashirama and Tobirama alone. The nickname The Professor personifies his mastery of essentially every jutsu, technique, and combat form that exists in Konohagakure. Well, it explains where Orochimaru got his obsession for jutsu from, but unlike Orochimaru, if Hiruzen wanted to, he could learn every jutsu known to man. The late Sarutobi's intellect allows him to deduce the mechanics behind a technique by simply seeing the required hand signs. Even with something he's never seen before, such as the truth-seeking balls, he could understand everything about them from just a glance. As a master of all 5 elemental releases as well, Hiruzen Sarutobi is a force that would be difficult for any shinobi to defeat, and if he was in his prime, it is no question that he may be able to win this whole thing. Sadly, that is not the case, but up against our next entry, things could go either way. As we mentioned before, Hiruzen Sarutobi was said to be stronger than the first and second Hokage in his prime. Given his old age, the second Hokage, Tobirama Senju, now might have a slight edge. When we speak of jutsu, a lot of credit has to go to Tobirama because it's likely that he's the one who created it. Some of our favorite techniques, such as multi-shadow clone jutsu, impure world reincarnation, and flying thunder god, which Minato made popular, all stem from his mind. Like his predecessor, Tobirama is a master of all 5 elemental releases, specializing in water release, and could use water-style jutsu regardless if water was nearby. Also, if you caught this man in his prime, whew, you would be in some trouble. Lord Second is in a special class of his own, being one of the few who could perform jutsu with one hand. In terms of strength, his power rivaled that of Madara before obtaining the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and his speed is unmatched. As we mentioned before, the second Hokage was the first to develop the space-time jutsu Flying Thunder God, which allowed him to blitz all and any opponent at what seems to be the speed of light. His specific technique, the Flying Thunder God Slash, allowed Lord Second to slash down any opponents in front of him and acted as the perfect counter to the Sharingan's ability to predict movement. As a Hokage, I think we can all agree that Tobirama made some mistakes. However, none of us can question his status and skill as a warrior. However, based on our list, it's not enough to win him this tournament because someone is doing what he can do even better. Where do you even begin in discussing the prodigy known as Minato Namikaze, aka the 4th Hokage? Known as the Yellow Flash of the Hidden Leaf due to his mastery of the space-time jutsu Flying Thunder God, Minato was a man feared across all villages. I mean, who wouldn't be afraid of a guy who can instantly teleport behind enemy lines and single-handedly take down over 1,000 men? Also, we have to acknowledge that it was this speed, and seemingly this speed alone, that made him so great. Only being a master of 3 elemental releases, Minato rarely formed hand signs and specialized in hand-to-hand combat. Carrying with him a multitude of specialized triple-pronged kunai, which was marked with a seal for teleportation, the 4th Hokage easily moved across the battlefield, going wherever he threw the kunai or laid out in advance. Now, what's really cool about Minato was his ability to take what the second Hokage developed and take it even further. An example of this is the technique Flying Thunder God Guiding Thunder, which was a barrier jutsu capable of warping away anything that came in contact with it, including a tailed beast ball. Now, speaking of the tailed beast, it was Minato who had the strength to seal half of the 9 tails within himself, and even after the fact, sealed the other half within Naruto. Overall, Minato's power is insane, and we are just barely scratching the surface. He's one of the few who's fully earned the respect of the Toad boss Gamabunta, can enter Sage Mode, Nine Tails Chakra Mode, and is the creator of the Rasengan. If it wasn't for his untimely passing, who really knows how far Minato could have gone? Known as the other god of shinobi, even the first, the creator of Konohagakure, and essentially the ninja world, the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju, is one of the greatest shinobi to ever do it. In his era, Hashirama was the most powerful ninja, and the only one whose strength could handle Madara Uchiha, who at the time had the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and the Nine Tails at his disposal. As the first reincarnation of Asuro Otsutsuki, Hashirama's chakra pools were massive, powerful, and dense. Enough so that it could visibly affect the landscape around him. However, his immense chakra pools weren't his greatest strength. That lies in his utilization of Senjutsu, which was something he could utilize instantaneously in his Wood Release Kekkei Genkai. Being a master of Wood Release, the first Hokage could create giant tree-like structures that could legitimately shift the entire landscape and defend from attacks such as a tailed beast bomb. He could create wood clones who won't disappear after taking a certain amount of damage, use the human wood technique to create a humanoid creature whose power rivaled the Nine Tails, and so much more. This all pales in comparison to his greatest technique, Sage Art Wood Release True Several Thousand Hands. By combining Senjutsu and Wood Release, Hashirama was able to create a Titanic-sized statue that has the power to completely crush Kurama as well as a complete body Susanoo through an enormous barrage of punches. Depending on the time period, Hashirama Senju could easily take the #1 spot in our Hokage Battle Royale. Unfortunately, there is a new kid in town whose dream has finally been realized. From being the kid who everyone despised to becoming the Hidden Leaf's 7th Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki wins our Hokage Battle Royale, and how could he not? Through his hard work and undying determination, Naruto has become the strongest shinobi of all time next to Sasuke Uchiha. In his tool belt lies the many forms of the Rasengan he's developed, such as the Rasen Shuriken, which has the power to cut off and destroy an opponent's chakra network at a cellular level. He is a master of Senjutsu and has the ability to use 6 Paths Senjutsu, giving him access to 6 Paths Sage Mode. Being gifted half of the Sage of 6 Paths chakra, this form enhances all of Naruto's abilities to the point that he could dodge attacks coming at the speed of light, deflect truth-seeking balls, and sense Madara's invisible shadows in the world of Limbo. On top of this amazing source of power, Naruto also has complete access to Kurama's chakra. By pairing this form with his Nine-Tails chakra mode, Naruto gains access to some pretty cool abilities such as Tailed Beast mode. Paired with 6 Paths Senjutsu and 2 Kurama Shadow clones, Naruto can combine all 3 full-scale replicas of the Nine-Tails to create a single beast with 3 faces and 6 arms, resembling Asura Otsutsuki's chakra avatar. In this form, Naruto can unleash his ultimate attack, the 6 Paths Ultra Big Ball Rasen Shuriken, which is strong enough to counter Sasuke's ultimate attack, Indra's Arrow. In the anime, Naruto's power currently rivals that of the gods, such as Momoshiki Otsutsuki. In the manga, even with Kurama no longer at his side, Naruto is still holding his own, giving reason to why Naruto takes to the